Alright guys, welcome to Promotech. Thanks for tuning in. Here's what nobody is saying out loud. Samsung is quietly dismantling the one thing that made Galaxy flagships untouchable for over a decade. This isn't about specs or AI gimmicks. This is about a foundational decision happening inside Samsung right now that will permanently change what it means to buy a Galaxy S phone. Let's dive right into the video. So let's start with the display story, because this is where everything gets uncomfortable. For years, Samsung's secret weapon wasn't just that they made great phones. It was that they also made the screens inside those phones. Samsung Display supplied panels to Apple, to Google, to practically everyone. So when you bought a Galaxy S, you were getting the manufacturer's absolute best panel. Full stop. No compromise, no middleman. That era may now be ending. Reports from research firm Sigma Intel suggest the standard Galaxy S27 could use display panels from Chinese manufacturer BOE instead of Samsung's own screens. Let that sink in for a second. Samsung, the company that built its entire identity around display excellence, may put a competitor's screen on its own flagship phone. Now here's the layer most people are missing. This isn't just a cost-cutting move. There's an internal politics angle that's genuinely fascinating. Samsung's mobile division doesn't want to squeeze Samsung Display too hard on pricing, because if Samsung Display's margins collapse, it weakens their negotiating power against Apple in future supply contracts. Apple is Samsung Display's biggest external customer. So rather than force their own display division to bleed profits, Samsung Mobile is quietly outsourcing to BOE. One Samsung division is essentially protecting another, at the direct expense of the Galaxy S27 buyer. That's the uncomfortable truth buried inside this story. And it compounds, because at the same time, separate reports indicate the standard S27 may also stay on older M13 OLED material, while the Ultra jumps to the newer M14 technology. M14 isn't a minor upgrade. It delivers meaningfully better brightness, more efficient power consumption, and longer panel lifespan. So the standard S27 buyer could end up with a BOE panel running older OLED materials, while Ultra buyers get Samsung's finest technology. The gap between base and Ultra has never been this structural. This isn't about camera tiers anymore. This is about whether you're getting a real Galaxy experience or a budget-managed approximation of one. Here's where it gets even more interesting from a market strategy perspective. Samsung already raised Galaxy S26 prices this year. If the BOE move helps them hold S27 pricing steady, a large portion of buyers will likely accept the trade-off without even realizing it happened. Most everyday users will never run a side-by-side comparison. They'll see a beautiful screen, smooth performance, and a familiar Samsung interface, and they'll be satisfied. Samsung is betting on that. They're betting that perception beats specification for the majority of the market. And historically, they've been right about that kind of bet. By the way, if you're someone who tracks these display technology differences and wants to actually verify what panel your device is using before you buy, Walverse is a tool worth knowing. It aggregates hardware sourcing reports, display benchmarks, and component tracking across flagship launches, so you're not relying on marketing language alone. For the kind of viewer who watches this channel and cares about what's actually inside the box, it fits naturally into how you research phones. Worth having in your corner. Quick moment before I keep going. Over 70% of you watching right now aren't subscribed to this channel. And I get it, you found a video you're watching, that's great. But this channel is specifically for people who want the story behind the story, not just specs and announcement recaps. If that's the kind of content you want consistently, subscribing just means it shows up when you need it. Here's what I want you to sit with, though, because this story isn't finished. Apple is reportedly doing something similar, pulling back premium features from standard models while loading up Pro versions. Samsung and Apple are both moving in the same direction at the same time, which raises a real question about where this ends. If the standard flagship keeps getting quietly downgraded while prices stay the same or climb, what exactly are we paying for? And more importantly, at what point do buyers push back hard enough that brands actually reverse course? Take care and stay safe. I'll see you in the next one soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.